crazy.
Year less.
You know how to work the camera system, Cameron? I always get it confused, man, just because I see that, but that
Yeah, you
circle
think
throws me
it's,
off. So we'll see, we're gonna take that share part off, right? And then the comments will
are-
come in.
You are live.
So we're live now.
We're just waiting.
All right, so very good. So Cameron, what do you think?
Nothing said looks.
Your hair looks better than mine. That bothers me a little bit, Cameron.
Might just have a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. So, all right, so if you're not watching this yet or haven't joined in, this is our chat with the chief in the evening for the month of April. And I've got a guest with me, so we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a second. Cameron, so when we talk, so we're going to see the questions pop up here.
Okay.
We've got some things that I certainly want to share with the community there, and then when we address them, we'll read the questions here, but we'll address them. We're going to look right into that bright blue light to talk a little bit. So, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should we start opening it up and put some things out there, or start? Wait till we get some questions. What do you think?
We've got 58 viewers up here, so 60 now. So.
People already on board. So, let's see if we get. Does it look? Are there people logged on right now, or can you tell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 69 viewers right now.
Wow, it's a lot of people.
All right, that's a lot of people.
They're not showing up.
My mom's up. Oh, hi, Mom.
Well, if we got that many
Yeah.
viewers, we're good.
Yeah, you're coming up.
All right, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right, so hello everyone. Here we are again with our Facebook Live session. We did one session this afternoon at noon, and we'll knock this session out. We want to start at 6 o'clock. However, I did want to start a little early because again, we've got a little bit of different system here, and it looks like I see the word live on there, so it looks like things are going well. And I've got some looks like I got some posts popping up already. Anthony, you're very welcome, man. I'm very interested in you come to work on, so we'll definitely talk. And Kevin, it's good to have you on board. So a couple of things we're going to add different this evening. I promised a special guest, so I have a friend with me. He is going to introduce himself in just a second. Ashley, thank you. It's good to have you on board tonight. Thank you, and it means a lot. I appreciate you. So I have a young guest with me. You heard us talk before about youth is a passion of mine. That is our future. So events that we do in this department, I want to include the youth in. So we created a program, a young adult police commissioner program. You may have heard me talk about that before. I have one of the participants, one of the commissioners here with me tonight. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, where he goes to school, and then we're going to take some questions and go through. I want to update you on some of the things that are going on in our city, where we're at with crime. I think it's important we talk about transparency. So we've got a couple of things we want to share with you, some things we're doing in the community, some challenges we faced, and then we're also going to spend a little bit of time talking about the verdict in the George Floyd case and trial, Derek Chauvin that just came in just recently. But Cameron, why don't you take a few minutes where you go to school, what grade you're in, and maybe share a little bit about young adult police commissioners and why you decided to take part in that.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Cameron Hibbler. I'm a freshman student at Denby High School. I was at Woodside, but now I'm at Denby. I'm a young adult police commissioner. This is my first year doing the program. I found out about it through my dad, which he got that from Lieutenant Morgan, and then that's kind of how I joined the program or whatever. So yes, this is my first year. We've done a lot of things in my first year doing it, especially because with COVID restrictions, I was really surprised from the things we were able to do. Just last week, we did the Milo system. So we get
Now the Milo system, what is that?
It's the system, so big screen, computer, it almost feels like real life. We get in different situations that officers deal with daily on the streets, not just here in Newport News, but everywhere. We have a simulated gun on our side. and we go through different situations. We did a domestic call at a house. We walked in the home, uh, had to de-escalate the situation. It's really meant for de-escalation. Got to use the gun. I had to shoot the perpetrator in a sense, and hey, we got to take that person down. So that's Milo.
So let's talk about the Milo system for a second. So that's a simulator. It's like it places officers in quick decision situations, and you can take the same scenario and tweak it in different ways. It teaches us to be mindful of a backdrop. It teaches us how to talk and de-escalate, and you can change the outcome. You can have an individual that's talking to an officer and pull out a cell phone. You can have an individual that's talking to an officer and display a type of weapon. You can have a situation where the officer can verbally de-escalate and the individual puts the weapon down or completely surrenders. But it's a tool used to help us identify, make quick decisions, and it's something that we use in training, and we also expose the community. So I wanted the commissioners to go through to see what that's like to make those quick second decisions and just to have some of that experience. Tell me a little bit about when you got into the program. How was it explained to you, and do you think it changes the way police and youth interact?
Absolutely. The term that we like to use is bridging the gap. When I first got in the program, I was a little nervous just because Lieutenant Morgan told us we'd be speaking a lot when we didn't want to, but we had some conversations. We've talked about George Floyd, the situation that happened in Minneapolis. There's just been the police brutality. We've talked about cancel culture. For example, with the Milo system, that gained a lot of perspective for me because when you're dealing with a citizen on a day-to-day basis, you don't know what weapon they have, you don't know what kind of day they're having, but you're still there to help. So we get to gain a lot of perspective in the sense of what law enforcement officers go through daily, but at the same time, they get to learn the things that we as citizens deal with every day.
That's good. That's good. The let me say hello to some of the people we got on board with us. So I know I missed some. Kelly, someone asked us to go back up to the top here.
Okay.
All right, so I got Ashley. Thank you so much for joining us. Ms. Willis, thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Justin, I saw today a police vehicle with purple lettering instead of typical blue. What's up with that? So Justin, I'll tell you, I'm very proud of that. We did that last year. We took 3 vehicles, and during Domestic Violence Month in October, purple is the color, and we put the emblem that represents the color, mark the police cars in that, and they have stickers on them or placard that say domestic violence. So sort of awareness, a heightened awareness. So we have 3 vehicles, one in the north, one in the central, and one in the south. That it's another way of just showing our focus on domestic violence. And we have a domestic violence grant that we're going to do some interesting things with this summer, where we put out some domestic violence teams that domestic violence calls will be dispatched to those officers. And we've created a whole division here. Soon there'll be a sergeant over that division with civilian and Detective Juno as well. But that's going to be a real push for us. Domestic violence is something that's a passion of mine that we've been trying to focus on. We've seen an increase really over the last 3 years, and I know we're only a few months into this year, but I will tell you this is right now we're about 13 domestic aggravated assaults less than we were last year. So it's a good trend. I know we're only a quarter of the way through the year, but I want to continue to build on that. Ms. Cox, thank you for joining us. I know you're a big activist with the NAACP and the work that you do with us. I appreciate you being here. Jonathan, any updates on the most recent activity in Newport News? Jonathan, give me a little bit when you say recent activity, kind of what you're particular talking about. Well, Jonathan sends us that. I'm going to go back to my friend Cameron. Cameron, so we talked a little bit with the young adult police commissioners. We interact with each other. We have some heated discussions and about diversity and how we interact with youth, and some of the things that you've talked about that are important. We've got 2 events coming up. You kind of touch base on. We have a youth forum, I believe, where you guys are going to partner with the Mayor's Youth Commission.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit. I think it's about mental health. Tell me a little bit about that, and then we've got this. I'm going to say it wrong. Poetry, open mic, drop mic. I'm going to say it wrong. So tell me about those 2 events we've got coming up.
So with the Mayor's Youth Forum, that is on Thursday at 6 p.m. I believe. It will be virtual, and and I heard it will be later granted to the public to view some clips from it. But we'll be talking about violence, COVID-19 concerns, just as us as students in Newport News, school, how it's just been hard for us because we're at home virtually. I know the schools have been opening back up, but just so we can talk to all the different city leaders about these certain things, mental health. We'll be talking about all those different things because those things are important for us as children. You know, we go to school. We've been out of school what, a year and
Yeah,
a
it's
few
crazy,
months
isn't
now.
it?
So
Well, let me ask you, Cameron, from where I sit. Then I think sometimes we don't look at that. Do you think is it hard for young people? And I'm just asking you, I guess. Is it hard for your age group, school, youth? Is mental illness something that is talked about a lot, or is it not so much talked about, or is it a growing concern?
I believe it's a growing concern. I'm glad we have local leaders talking about these kind of things because there are kids that go to school and they're just not happy. It's something that definitely needs to be addressed. So
All right, so we got a couple more. Kelly, just scroll up for me a little bit, right before Kevin. I didn't know if I
This
missed
is the
anybody.
last one, yeah. Yeah, we talked.
Oh, okay, so Kevin says hello, Cameron. Good, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate
Good
that.
evening.
Robin, welcome, Chief. Welcome, Cameron. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Lorraine, for being here. Oh, yes, my friend. Laura, thank you for everything you do. My family and I support the men and women make up. Wow. Laura, thank you so much. That means a lot. I appreciate that. And it means a lot to the men and women out there that do this job day in and day out. And that means a lot. I appreciate that. Sammy, what's up, Cameron? Whoa, what do you got? Is this
Local celebrity?
is
huh?
this a fan club?
Yeah, right.
Sammy, you see, there's two of us here, right? No, it's funny that you mentioned. I was doing Facebook Live last month, and this young man posted on and said, "Chief, when are we going to do this together?" So, you believe he called me out right on Facebook Live? So I said, well, I guess we'll do it next month. So here he is. So no, it's a great process. Eric, is the Milo program used across other departments? So Eric, a lot of departments have it. Some have their own system. Some partner with some other entities. We partner with ECPI. But I will tell you, I believe it's a very valuable tool, and for two reasons. One, it again works with officers on making split decisions, but it also can educate and show community members, youth, faith leaders, what it's like, when you're going through that scenario and you have adrenaline, your heartbeat increases, your hands, and it tells you how to identify those situations that happen to your physical body, but it also how fast things can turn. So some departments have it, some do not. I can tell you a goal of mine is to buy that system and a newer system here for this department. I just got to find a place to put it. Right now we partner with the university there, and we have a one screen. But I'd like to have at least some departments have a 360. I'd like to have at least a 180 left, right in front of us that we can turn a little bit and just add some more to it. But it continues to advance. They do have some that are portable, but what I would like to see is to bring high school students in, to bring community leaders in, to bring citizens in, to experience that, and to see what it's like to make that split-second decision and get it right every time. And that's hard. That's hard. Cameron, let's see who else is on with us tonight. Annie, thank you for being here. Hi, Annie. Oh, hi, Chief and Jamie. Hope you're well. Okay. Maria, thank you for being here. That means a lot. Juanita, so proud of you. Wait. Juanita, so proud of you, Cameron. You want to say hi to
Yeah.
Juanita?
Thank you, Auntie, for coming on.
Auntie.
Yep, that's
Auntie. Your auntie's on tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Your auntie just said glad to see you tonight. She's on tonight.
Well, thanks for joining.
Juanita, thank you for being here tonight. Now, let me tell you, you should be very proud of him. This young man impressed me tremendously. I have a lot of respect for him. And as we move forward to try to be a better department, I think that the more people we bring to the table, not confrontations, but conversations. And I think the youth of today in this city are so talented. And I want to interact with them and talk with them. Now, Cameron's high maintenance. So Sergeant Webster is kind of his responsibility is to manage him. He's high maintenance, but no, he is he's a great young man. You should be very proud, and I join you. I'm very proud of him too. Miss Brumfield, thank you for being here. I haven't forgot about you. Thank you. And Annie says hi, Cameron. Miss Bell, hi. This is great to hear everything you're doing in the community. Miss Bell, thank you very much. And Sylvia Horvath. Gosh, that name sounds familiar. You familiar with
Yeah,
her?
she was on the last line.
Yeah,
She told me to do my homework last time.
She helped you do your homework.
She told me to do it.
Well, Sylvia, thank you so much. She's one of our alumni and she was one of our very first youth commissioners, year one. And I appreciate you and just stay focused on college. I know those classes get hard, but just stay focused. You'll get through it. And I'm proud of you. Prince Elizabeth, thank you for being here. Rhonda, thank you so much. God bless you. This commissioner program sounds very interesting. Eric, I will tell you, it's a program we want, right? It's a program we want to work with to use. So we have a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from every high school. And we want to open the doors to this department and share it with them. But I will tell you, it is also my goal for this department to learn from the youth today. And we are not going, I can tell you, individuals that we bring in, we send out an application process, the school resource officers and leadership in the school, but it is not an honor roll group either. I want a diverse group that can talk to us about real issues in our community, how they feel about things. I can't imagine going through high school and not having like a graduation. It was very different last year, and I want to hear about that. Yeah, I see it, but they live it, and we learn a lot from them. Cameron, talk a little bit, if you don't mind. When we have a police graduation ceremony, which we just had with our recruit class, a memorial service, who are some of the guest speakers? Why would I have you guys be in those guest speaker roles, and how do you think that makes? How do you feel with teenagers doing that, speaking at police events?
Well, first of all, if it was me, and obviously some of the other commissioners have done it, but it feels welcoming. You bring kids to city council meetings. Just probably about a month ago, we had the academy graduation. I believe Davion spoke there. Gave a nice speech. Just a couple months back, I believe Lavender, she spoke at the National Police Week ceremony thing. So Lavender spoke there. You're always welcoming to us. It definitely feels very welcoming. I think it gives us a chance to speak about the issues that really do concern us, but at the same time talk to the fellow law enforcement officers in the city.
Cameron, there's two things that I try to accomplish when I have you all do those events. When I want to have a young commissioner get up and speak, there's two things. There's two audiences I'm trying to reach. One is the community, our citizens. I want the youth of this city to know that they matter to me. But the other is I want your message to resonate with the individuals who wear this uniform. I want individuals in this uniform to know that you all matter to me. And I think with all the clashes that happen and that we see across the country, I think the more conversations we have, that when I see you at the movie theater or a grocery store, that I want to feel comfortable, that I can come up and talk to you and shake your hand, and I want you to feel the same way towards me.
Absolutely.
And I think that building those relationships go a long way. It looks like Mr. Smith is, that looks like that's for you.
It's my dad.
Dad.
Thanks for joining, Dad.
Mr. Smith, I'm glad you're on board. Again, I cannot be, so I'll pause. I'll tell you, I cannot be more impressed with your son. I learn a lot from him, and I can tell you, it is apparent that you all made a tremendous investment in him, and I appreciate that. Working with young people is a blessing, and I want to thank you and your family for allowing us time with your son. That means a lot, and I appreciate that. All right, let's catch up here on anybody we missed. Wesley, YAPC is a great program. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You also have a vested interest, and I appreciate that. She's an amazing person. She gives me a hard time, I want you to know. but she's an amazing person. Jonathan, recent shootings in Newport News. Yeah, Jonathan, so let's touch base on that. Kelly, how many more do I have? I want to definitely answer Jonathan's questions. How many more posts do we have in there?
We have quite a few.
Okay. All right, Jonathan, I'm just going to touch base. So, recent shootings, I want to go back. We had 3 situations that happened last week that were impactful. We had a youth, 17-year-old individual that lost his life on Warwick Boulevard. That was on Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, we had a domestic situation, 2 brothers, and one shot and killed the other. And then on Thursday night, around 9 o'clock at night into Friday afternoon, we had a SWAT call out, just about 18 hours. Individual had warrants on file, and then a female inside the room. We weren't sure if she was abducted or was able to leave or not able to leave. So those situations back to back were challenging. The homicide with the domestic situation that was resolved, we made an arrest right away. The 17-year-old, we have a lot of good information and a lot of good leads, but that was a shooting in the north end of the city. What I talked a little bit about in our afternoon session is I wanted to touch on our homicides. We did an interview with Channel, I think 13, earlier in the week, and let's just talk about those 10 murders. So we have 10 murders in our city. Of those 10, 6 are cleared by arrest. Of those 6 that are cleared, 4 are domestic related. 4 happened inside a residence behind closed doors and walls. It's very hard for officers to drive down an area and know that that's happening. Those domestic situations, we learned, don't just start like that. There's things that lead up to them. All of those are cleared. We have one murder that is by mental illness, where he took, individual took a young lady's life and then committed suicide himself. And part of our struggle is trying to figure out why. I think there's some mental illness undertones there that we're trying to work through that. Even though domestic situations, what led up to that? How could we or other entities intervened earlier before someone lost their life? It's so important when citizens hear that or know of that. It's one thing I'd like to ask Cameron too. You know, even in youth that they may have friends that they go to school with that may know things about domestic violence or live in homes where that happens. But that's 5. We have an individual that was killed inside a vehicle in a secluded neighborhood. We believe that might have some drug-related tones to it, but we are very close to solving that case. We have one that is an arson situation where a fire was set in a trailer and an individual, smoke inhalation, deceased. And then we have another one homicide that happened in our southeast community. An individual was shot and killed and lost his life, but an arrest has been made there. So we have 10 homicides, 6 are cleared by arrest. Of the remaining 4, 3 we have strong people of interest. A lot of good information. And then the arson is the one that we'd like to have a little bit of help on. That was in an area that is kind of quiet, but we'd like to get some more information on that. So when they happen back to back, I want to make sure that we're open and transparent about what those are. I don't want people to think that there's multiple individuals, multiple shootings going on, and deaths in the city, and people are in danger. Most of them, I believe, 7 of the 10 knew the individual that committed the act against them. The 4 that are open, 3 I'm very confident that we will solve by the end of the year. And the other one with the arson is the one we're struggling with a little bit. We need some help on, but that's a great question. And thankful for the Newport News Police feeling especially close since our son retired from the force. Thank you very much, and I appreciate and the work that your son did. That's amazing. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I think you said someone else's name behind the camera. Sorry, so Ann, that's all right. So Miss Bastis, who used to be my right hand in here, has left us and joined the Norfolk Sheriff's Department. She received a promotion, and they hired her to do the media relations. So we wish her all the best and her family. She lives on that side of town, and I think that helps a little bit, and it gives her the next level in her career. So she was great. I learned a lot from Jamie. I still don't touch anything. I don't know about you, Cameron, but I'm not allowed to touch anything. They always tell me I unplug stuff. So So I want to come back to the domestic violence with you, Cameron, just a second. Christina, thank you very much. Zach, good evening. Good to have you on board, my friend. Thank you. Brittany. Oh, wait, that's not to me.
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Hibbler, thank you for joining us. And same thing. What an investment. What a great young man. And thank you for letting him spend time with me. I tell officers all the time, in this profession, it's not the number of tickets you write or the arrests you make. It's not even the guns or drugs that you seize. It's the impact in the lives that you get to interact with. And you talk to people when they retire from this profession and they remember the relationship. So I hope someday, when I'm sitting enjoying an evening breeze on the front porch and Cameron is running things, that he thinks back, I remember Chief Drew, but because I will certainly remember him. All right, Kate, great job, Cameron. I hope you get more youth involved. Wow,
Thank you.
that's awesome.
Responding to each
They're
other.
responding about it, okay.
Mom
And
and
Eric.
having in their own
This sounds like a program
conversation.
that should be, this sounds like a program that should be spread across state with different departments. Yes, wow. Eric, that's what I'm talking about. We're still trying to find more and bigger and better ways to do that. You're exactly right. Cameron is, okay, this is going back and forth, so this is the Cameron hour, I got it.
Yeah, right.
He is whoa. Wait, no. Let me go back there to Miss Albion. He is adorable. What a beautiful young man.
Thank you.
Well, how do you know she's talking about you?
I'm a young man,
Oh.
you know?
Can we put this on pause?
Let's go.
Apparently, we should have had a discussion. No, yeah, he's got the youth on me. Some say he's got better hair. I don't know. But I'm very honored that he was here. So Miss Lyons, she has done some very interactive things with us about leadership. She also spoke
Mhm.
at our graduation. Remember, she talked about the
Bravery.
acronym BRAVE. Yep, BRAVE and courage. And she does a lot to help us work with this department and move forward. Let me go back to domestic violence. Cameron, that's a big passion of mine. It frustrates me because for 3 years, we've seen domestic violence grow. We're starting to see a little bit of a turn here. We're learning better ways to treat victims. But from a young man, a high school student's perspective, is domestic violence something that you all talk about, friends or families that may be suffering from that? Do you guys have those conversations, or is it kind of like, no, we don't talk about that?
I'd say yes and no. It gets covered in school a little bit, but at the same time, it's one of those kind of private things that happens behind closed doors. So we definitely have those conversations. I'm sure there's kids I go to school with daily that deal with it. It's kind of sad because sometimes they're scared to speak up because
Right.
they just don't feel like they have a voice. But I think it's great we kind of do these kind of things so these children and even young teenagers that feel like they have a voice to say something.
No, wow. Did somebody write that for you, or did you? That's good.
Right off the dome.
Because you're exactly right. One of the frustration parts that I have is trying to understand why someone may not leave a situation, right? So we hired these two fantastic ladies, Cheryl and Nisha, to come in and work with us, civilians, right, to come in and work for this department and teach us better ways to treat victims. And I think it's just really exploding with what they have. And I learn and understand more that it can be hard to leave those situations. Kids whose bills and worried about what's going to happen to their significant other. So I understand. Nobody wants to come in and talk about that. But I hope that it'll be my prayer, I guess, that seeing you and others, young people in our community, have those discussions, and it might open doors for someone that might be suffering from something like that.
Absolutely, because sometimes, like you say, people see the badge or the uniform and they just don't want to speak up. But when they just see someone that's not in uniform and doesn't have a gun, they might feel more open because they can closely relate to that person.
Annie, how about that? I believe we will all remember Cameron. Wow. Eric, thank you again, my friend. Annie, thank you. Oh, wait, so Miss Albion was making it clear. I guess you're talking about Cameron. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Got it. That's great. My grandson, Michelle. Okay, very good.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah. You should be. You should be very proud. I am too. You should be very proud. Anytime you bring kids to the table, it becomes a game changer. Cameron, wow. Christina, thank you. We're gonna talk. When I interact with youth, the young adult police commissioners, we sit in a room with Lieutenant Morgan and our community youth and outreach division, our SROs. We have some really pointed discussions. And we have not rehearsed, so we're just gonna have some discussions here because I think it's important for us to be transparent. Just a few minutes ago, we read we saw the verdict come across in the trial that had been going on in Minneapolis, the death of George Floyd, the murder trial there with Derek Chauvin. We had talked about that this week. I had sent an email out to the officers, just reminding that there's a lot of emotion and feeling, and to just be vigilant, how that affects a lot of people watching that trial. For me, in my life, it reminds me of when I was younger, watching how we were all glued to watching the O.J. Simpson trial or the Rodney King situation that happened in California. Let me ask you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, it's just, I feel comfortable enough to ask you, that situation, that trial, what were your thoughts? Did you see the verdict or did you hear about it?
We were on our way here and got a notification. So.
What have you followed any of that trial? Did you watch any of it? What did you think about the whole situation?
I watched a little bit of it yesterday. I know it kind of sucks in a sense because you have one side of law enforcement over here and then you just have citizens over here. It creates a very hostile environment between the two, and you see all these different cases, not only George Floyd, but it's happening all the time. So
Situation in Wisconsin, situation in Atlanta.
absolutely, even I believe right outside of Minneapolis in Brooklyn Center.
That's right. Yep. Absolutely.
So I believe a lot of people will just feel a little bit safer and knowing that justice has been served. Maybe people will give back faith or remain faithful in their law enforcement because these are the people that are protecting their communities. I feel like this will be a definite change in America. People will maybe feel a little bit more comfortable with law enforcement.
I think to have open conversations, Ms. Lyons, if she was here, she would tell us how important it is to have relationships and have open and honest conversations. And I will tell you, it's hard because when those situations happen, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Wisconsin, just outside of there in Minnesota, things that happen across the country in law enforcement, they affect this department and others. And we try to learn, and I'm never going to compare us to another department, but we try to be on the forefront and talk so much about how we treat people, how we interact with people, that all people have value. And if we just remember that, right, that we're all in this thing together. And when I understand there's times when individuals don't want to be arrested, but once whatever happens is over, I think you can still treat people and have conversations and explain. I don't want us painting a broad brush on either side, that this is all law enforcement, this is all youth act this way. I don't believe that. I think that we have to look at certainly systems and processes.
Absolutely.
But I really think we have to invest in each other, and I hope that the youth of this city see us trying to do that. But I will tell you, Cameron, you and I have talked before, we do not always get it right. We make mistakes, and when we do, even in this uniform, as the chief in this police department, we have to be able to stand up and apologize, to admit that we made a mistake and learn from it and try to do better. Where we get into danger is if we don't change, right? And I don't know about you guys, but for us, we don't like the way things are, and we don't like to change, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for us. But I think you guys coming in the door, and I'm sure there's a lot of different things you all could be doing, but for you spending time with this department, you may not see it now, but I promise you, man, years down the road, people will look back and look at the impact that you all made on this department. So I appreciate you just being in the program and taking part and opening up to some of the conversations you're going to be in. And apparently you've got your own fan club here on tonight. So I just appreciate you, man. I appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you having me here.
Thank you, my friend. All right, let's see what we got here. I know we
We missed Mr. Rollison's question.
Mark, good afternoon, Chief. Once a week or so, there is a death or accident involving people. Wow. Mark, you're absolutely right. So I talked about the homicides we had, but I didn't even talk about, our traffic fatalities are up. We're having individuals that are trying to dart across traffic, dark clothing in at night. We had one traffic fatality on Friday, and we had two on Saturday, and they're horrific. Most of them are caused by people in the roadway running across, or they're caused by speeding. We created a traffic division back in March to try to address that. We talked a little bit about this afternoon. You're absolutely right. We do have an uptick in our traffic fatalities, and I just want people to slow down. This traffic division that we created was not in any way to write more tickets and gain revenue. It's about slowing people down. And Cameron, I don't know, just the school buses this year, we partnered with by putting
Cameras
cameras
sides
on
of
the buses, right? So remember when the bus stops, the sign comes out, stop sign, and the bar comes across, and young people are getting on the bus. You would be amazed at the cars that just continue to drive by.
I see it.
It is crazy. So I get a report every Monday, and so we have an officer dedicated to a computer system that watches those cameras and sends out citations. But I will tell you, it's not about generating revenue. It's about keeping the roadway safe for our kids getting on the bus. So Mark, you're definitely locked in. There has been a lot. I'll tell you some other upticks we have. Overdoses and suicides. And I think that goes back a little bit about, Cameron, what you were talking about with this pandemic is something I've never seen. The stress people have and pressure. How does that, do you as youth, do you see that? Do you feel that? It's just a different time, man. Does that affect, do young people talk about that?
Well, recently, yes, we have. I mean, we've all kind of been stuck together as far as just interacting with more people just in your house. Think about it, your parents are at work, you go to school, and now we're just all dealing with each other all the time in the house. So it definitely causes drama. I'm sure places that have had problems in the past it's just getting worse in their households. So
It's just when we talk about some of the domestic violence we see, I think that's part of it. Is people are together, they can't get out, they start to get frustrated. So I think you're exactly right. Did I miss? You got Mark. Scroll up just a little bit for me, Kelly. Make sure we didn't miss anybody.
I think we're good.
Definitely Cameron. We're going down a little bit. We got Christina. Sorry, I spelled the name wrong. My typing. Oh, that's okay.
Christina's our next one.
Anything no, we got that one.
Okay.
Yep. Beth, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Christina, I remember growing up in downtown Newport News, holding community events for you in the field between Ridley Circle and Park. I would love to see more of those to bridge the gap between the youth and high crime impacted areas, especially now that there's increased fear between the youth and our great officers. I'm almost 40 and still remember those events. Wow, so Christina, it's pretty cool to me that you still remember that. And you're right. So I know we're kind of hoping some restrictions open up. It's funny you talked about a youth event. Cameron, you know what we're going to do on Sunday?
softball game.
Softball was Saturday.
Oh, sorry.
This Sunday, Lieutenant Morgan, your lieutenant that you work with, signed us up. Christina, are you ready for this? 3 flag football games.
Ooh.
Newport News Police Department is going to suit up, and we're going to play flag football. We're going to play against 8 and 9-year-olds, 10 and 11-year-olds,
And 13 and 14.
and 13 and 14. Now, I can tell you, the police department don't like to lose. So those 8-year-olds better bring their game. The tie is the Tri-City Hurricanes. I don't know if Kelly Stewart is on tonight, but she chimed in earlier. So we're going to get out there and play flag football. I am sure we're going to have some sprained ankles. I'll have some officers that their pinky fingers hurt. But I will tell you that the officers like, look, they better bring their game because we're going to throw the ball deep, Cameron. I'm letting you know now. Do you think those events like that, when we're interacting with kids, with youth, do you think that makes a difference?
Absolutely, it gives a better image. Not necessarily saying it's to give the police department a better image, but the actual reality of it. Probably has other kids want to speak up just because, hey, I see these kids talking to the police department now, so can I. So it definitely makes.
Do you see us in a different? We have this badge and uniform on, but if we're on a basketball field, a football field, volleyball court, do do young people look at us differently?
Absolutely, they don't see the gun and the badge. It's
Okay.
just basic human beings.
Do you think that opens up for easier ways to start some conversation?
Absolutely.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So proud to know this young man go camp. Beth Bell, very good. Thank you for being here. T, keep up the great work. Thank you. Valerie, thinking out loud, still waiting, praying for mission to come forth on the murder of Roanoke Avenue. May 29th will be 1 year, and it's unbelievable nothing's done. So, Valerie, let me first say I'm very, very sorry for your loss. But don't think for a minute that nothing has been done. We have homicide detectives there. No case is closed until it's closed. They remain open. We certainly hope for new evidence. We hope for new information to come forward. What we find a lot is people know things, but they're afraid to come forward and share it. I don't want to get involved. I'm fear myself, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, we need. I want to have that communication. So any piece of any information that comes forward is vital. But I feel I am very, very sorry. But I don't want anyone to think, well, we haven't solved it, so we set it in a folder, so it doesn't happen. I get updated every year on the unsolved cases. I do the same thing on our shooting cases that we have, where are we at? And we have cold case detectives that even look at cases that are 15 and 20 years old, that we still look that maybe there's more DNA, scientific things that have come forward that we can use. So no case ever just goes, it's not like nothing's done. But we do believe that there are individuals out there that know what happened in some of these cases and are just afraid to come forward. And I understand that as well. It's just a real challenge for us. Ms. Lyon, absolutely. Communication is the beginning of every relationship where we are in this together. Very good. And so true. She did a pretty good job. Pretty amazing, huh?
Oh, yeah. Talking.
Yeah. So you were at the graduation.
Oh yeah.
How did the graduation was at 10 o'clock in the morning? Weren't you supposed to be in class? It's okay. Don't answer
I
that
got
online.
permission like 2 months ago, maybe. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Dar, thank you, Chief, for being at the forefront, leading the way in our community, and being humble. Dar, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Ann says, I appreciate you as well, Cameron. Thank you. So this is where I struggle a little bit. Like all those like signs.
Emojis.
Is that what
Yeah,
emojis?
they're
What,
emojis.
those are good things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's different ones, but all those are positive emojis. That's like,
Well, if a bad one comes up, will you let me know?
yeah.
Okay.
Just look for anything like orange or
Orange is bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I see the praying hands on the heart, but okay, I got it. Okay.
Smiley face.
Dar, Cameron, thank you for taking the time to share your perspective and experiences. Wow. Congratulations for your win Saturday in Newport. Yeah, so Cameron, you were talking about softball. Saturday, we went to Chesapeake, and we had a big softball tournament, fire and police. We got to go out, and I didn't play it. I'm getting old, but I cheered the team on. They won 2 games and lost 1, but I got to see Chief Calvin right out there. We had some good conversation, and I think it's good to get out and have that camaraderie and breathe a little bit. It's kind of step away from the calls for service and again interact with on the ball field and just have fun. Cameron, I don't know about you, but I know with schools and the Boys and Girls Club here is real big. We really want to have strong partnerships with them, and I think, I guess from your perspective, do you think it is important for us to get involved with youth at a younger age? Kids that are attending the Boys and Girls Club, elementary schools, do you think that has a place, or do you think that their kids are a little more standoffish at that age?
Well, I believe a child is like a sponge. You can get them to believe different things at a different age. They can be manipulated very easy. But I think it's a great thing to get in their heads that these people aren't out here to hunt you and kill you down. These are the people they're your community leaders, the people that are here to protect you and keep you safe. And you should be able to talk to these people. So I believe definitely talking to the 4 and 5 year olds, 6 and 7 year olds, definitely.
So we have and Lieutenant Morgan is here with us. We have a Sergeant Webster, just so I'm right, we have 12 SROs. We have an SRO in every high school and every middle school.
Yes.
And I want to get your opinion on that because I know there's a lot of conversation about officers in schools, and so I want to get your opinion on that. I think sometimes we sit at tables and make decisions without asking young people that most impact. So I want to get your impression of that. But we have school resource officer at every high school, every middle school. I don't have enough to put in the 26 elementary schools, but we do adopt. Everyone who works those daytime hours adopts an elementary school. For me, Principal Kelly Stewart up at Jenkins Elementary on Minchville, that was one of the first schools that asked me to come talk. And man, I had a blast. I got to see like the kids graduating to the next level, and it was great. But tell me, and just I know we talked about officers in school before. How do you feel about school resource officers in the school, and what kind of role do you think they should play in school?
Well, I'll tell you what. I went to Dozier Middle School for my 7th and 8th grade year.
Okay.
My SRO was Officer Booth, hands down. Not putting anyone else down, but my favorite SRO ever. Me and him have had hours and hours of long conversation, and I've learned a lot. He's learned a lot from me. I also see other kids want to come up and talk. Other kids want to come up and talk to Officer Booth just because they would see me talking to him. So
Right.
I definitely, it sparks relationships, it sparks conversation, and also I think it's great that we have them in school because kids, they go to school every day doing little things on the weekend. Not everybody can get to those, but to see that officer in the school building every day, I'm sure they feel safer and a little bit more comfortable knowing he's there. Or
Well,
she's
that's
there.
good. 'Cause I will tell you that's one of the I battle with that. Is that the right move? I know some entities would rather not have officers in schools, and we talk about different groups, but I think it's important that we sit down and ask the young people how they feel about it. And I know that not everyone may feel the same, but it's important, I think, to have those conversations. And then, what role they play in the school. Kelly, let's go back to where we scroll up for me a little bit.
Eric was the last.
Uh,
Oh, did you get
Nope,
Ms. Brumfield?
Go up above Miss Brumfield.
Oh, that's where we left off.
All right, yeah, so Christina, that's awesome. Y'all better eat your let me tell you, Christina, we're bringing the A game out to the ball field. All right, we'll be there. We'll come to play. I think we're also going to flip some hamburgers and hot dogs. So if you're going to be out there, if we get hungry, we'll get something to eat. All right. Ms. Brumfield, Chief, we're working on a community for courthouse green. I'm looking forward. Wow, Ms. Brumfield, I think that's a great idea. Anything we can come up with, let's sit down and talk about it. But we're all in. I think the more things as we loosen up in this COVID and the pandemic, the more things we can do. We're absolutely all in. Eric, so Cameron's got a question for you. I don't know you or the chief, but I am proud of you, and I congratulate you and the chief on what you're doing. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. That means a lot, Eric. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Nope, scroll back up for me.
They're talking to him.
So sorry for the loss. Oh, okay, I see.
She's responding.
Thank you so much, Chief. Hearing this from you really helps. And I will tell you, Ms. Banks, if you want, we will send you can send me your number or I can send you mine. But if there's something that you just want to talk on the phone, sometimes having those conversations helps. And I understand we have a homicide support group in our city that we meet with individuals who've lost loved ones. And we have some that 20 years ago, right, that meet with and we have good conversations. And sometimes just getting through some of those hard times and frustrating and when you feel angry, it's good to have somebody there that cares about you. And I understand. Scroll back up for me. Thank you, Robin. Thank you. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Miss Whalen, sorry I can't watch you. I'm on the Zoom meeting with the FBI. Maybe I hear something new I can share. Yeah, Miss Whalen, let us know. I know you do a lot of with our volunteers, CP AAA, and volunteers that come forward. You do a great part here. I appreciate that. Thank you, Chief. We think programs for youth. They give a positive direction. Wow, thank you, my friend. Thank you, guys. That means a lot. Dar. This to Cameron. You are wise beyond. No, now, Dar,
Trying to butter me up.
you are wise beyond your years. You're setting such example for fellow citizens, not just youth, but adults as well. Dar, I will tell you, one of the things that Ms. Lyons and I talk about is how important communication is. That we can sit down and when we know each other, I will tell you, I feel very comfortable that I could sit down and ask Cameron some of the questions, and we have not rehearsed. Sergeant Webster made sure he got you. Like I said, Sergeant Webster's responsible. But I feel comfortable to bring him here and one, expose you to my friend and expose my friend to you. And again, Cameron, I really appreciate you, all that you do in the community. You really have a heart for people, man, and that, can't teach that. I would submit that comes from your family and your grandparents and your mother and father. Christina, don't know the homicide support group. That's great. Yeah, Christina, we've had that for a while. We did that. It started about 2 years ago. We kind of have some celebrations, but sometimes people just struggle getting through some hard times, and it's good to have. It's good to have that. Are we all caught up, Kelly? If not, you are both awesome. Thank you.
Yes, after that.
Robin, thank you so much. That means a lot. Cameron, what do you see policing going forward? How are there things that you would like to see change in law enforcement, or if you were the chief, all right? Matter of fact, here, if you were the chief, what were some things that you would suggest, or things that you would like to see change?
Well, I definitely see we're implementing some of the things that I would like to see in our community right here now, here in Newport News. But like you told the new recruits at the graduation, talking to somebody, a child every day on your shift, like I think that's a great thing. Eventually, you're gonna talk to every child in the city, so I think that's a great thing. Just not only with the children, but just communicating with anybody that you can. It just strengthens that relationship, if you know what I mean. I just think communication is the number one thing that definitely should be put across the board. Things like this, open mic night, just all these different things that we can hear from the public and the public can hear from you guys. I think it's a great thing.
So we had last month, one of the events I asked, so young adult police commissioners, right, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior in our high schools. But I've got 16 recruits that just graduated the police academy. So before they graduated, and some of those recruits are just a few years older than some of the seniors in high school. We created a venue. We worked with Bayport Credit Union, sponsored the event, and we had a venue where we had the young adult police commissioners and the recruits in the same room, not across from each other, right, intermingled together, and they just had some discussions. And there were the recruits talked to the commissioners, but some of the high school students asked, why do you want to do this job, and what got you interested? How did you feel about that conversation? There were some laughs and some serious moments, and then there were even some tears in there.
Absolutely. It was very real. It didn't feel like it was scripted. It was just very real. Everything came off the top of our heads. We had people from North Carolina, New York, different parts of New York,
Right.
Bronx, Brooklyn.
New Jersey.
We had New Jersey in there.
I had to mess with my friend from New Jersey.
I remember in North Carolina, even I'm sure some people right here in the 757, but we got to tell them how we felt, and it just felt very, very real. I've never had a conversation like that, and I think those officers are really going to go implement some of those things out on the force every day.
So if you saw some of those new officers that are in the street, would you feel comfortable going up and talking to them?
Absolutely.
You remember, and I'm going to call her out because I did this afternoon earlier, but Officer Harper. Do you remember she was the officer that said, when we asked, I think someone asked her what got you interested, and she said she was in elementary school.
Yep.
You remember what she said?
The officer talked to her at lunch or something?
An officer sat down and talked to her at lunch, and ever since then, she wanted to be in law enforcement, and little to know, 20-some years later, she graduates, and once she gets through field training, she'll be patrolling the streets and here in Newport News, and I just thought that kind of hit me, man, that all the things we talk about, right? You talk about, it hit me. We get some more that showed up here,
There's a couple.
Kelly. I scroll up just for a little bit. Let me see.
I think it was
Robin, we got her.
No, I think it was Johnson.
No, there we go. All right, so thanks for the Dar. That's amazing advice, Cam. Wow. Dar, he is wise beyond his years. I'm telling you, he's a very special young man. Nikki, whoa. Whoa. Okay, so Nikki, let me just, Chief Cam, so proud of you. can I, it's time for me to go?
Are
Just
you
turn.
announcing retirement?
Apparently Nikki is. I don't know what's going on. Just be cutting edge. Nikki, let me tell you, if he wanted to be, I don't know his future, and he's still got plenty of time to make those decisions. But if he wanted to be, I believe that he could be. Annie, yeah. So there's a young man in our class from New Jersey, and I tease him. Even when I see him, I call him Jersey, and he tells me I pronounce it wrong, so I'm working on it. But he's great. He always has been a special young man.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen you, but thank you.
So Cameron, when we talked about, we were joking around, but in all seriousness, when I was doing this last month, I guess you were on, or someone told you it was on, and you chimed. What value do you see in this? You and I sitting here together, high school student from
Denby.
Denby High School, sitting here. Kelly, look, Miss King just either she likes Denby or she's from there.
Okay.
All right, so high school student from Denby High School, and the chief of police sitting here. What message are we sending? People that are watching us sit here and talk about things going on in our community and policing, relationships. What do you think? What do you think people are seeing?
That these relationships are possible. These relationships can definitely happen. I feel like right now we've probably inspired some people just reading the chat. We've probably inspired people to have conversations with officers, go talk to these people out on the streets. But I think we're inspiring people.
So why did you want to come on with me? Why did you want to do this? Besides mess with me, do you think this is important?
Absolutely. Get my voice out there a little bit more. Public speaking, helping out with that a little bit. So,
you know what it tells me, Cameron? It tells me that you care. That anybody can play a role and make a difference. Because I will tell you, we aren't going to fix relationships and things that we do. It can't just be one-sided. It's got to be people coming together and yeah. Because I'll tell you, when you said it, hey, I want to do this with you. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I didn't know if you'd really come. Sergeant Webster, was it hard getting him out the door? Or was he like waiting?
Oh, no, he was ready.
He was ready to go. I was like, let me see. Oh man, he's here. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Very good. Very good. Wow. I think Annie is very much in support of what you just said. 100% on point.
Thank you.
Wow. My friend Miss Cox, Chief and Cameron, this conversation has been outstanding. I think he stole the show, Carrie. I don't know. Miss Cox is a member of the NAACP and an activist. She's been a fighter for the community a long time. She helps us with our citizen use of force review boards. She does a lot of things for the community. Is that?
This is my father.
But I mean, is that to
Oh,
us?
yeah,
So some of that is responding to other people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
See, I'm glad you're here because I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
did I miss something?
And the replying kind of messes it.
And the emojis are good, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
good,
We're
good.
You just don't want to see like the sad.
Is
or
there
the
like
mad
a
ones.
is there like a spreadsheet that like if it's a good emoji, like a thumbs up or something, or
So-
is there like a whole list of them, or just one or two
No, it's cover this whole table with emojis.
with
like,
emojis?
yeah.
Okay, all right. So I see like some different colors here, but very 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 good.
I'm assuming you don't use them.
I'm not even sure where they're at. I'm
Oh.
not sure where you find it. To me they look like little stickers or something. I don't know. That's why I hang out with you, man. You keep me
Yeah,
young. Let's see. Chris, this is the best. Thank you, my friend. I think Cameron should be part of this every month. Man, I mean, Cameron's got a busier schedule than me.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I don't know. He's got a busy schedule. I'll tell you though, we would be remiss, and I think it's important. You and I sit here, but really the individuals are responsible for bringing us together. And the program created a lot of venues for us, but Sergeant Webster that oversees the SRO program, Lieutenant Morgan, and the work that she does. I have to publicly say just thank you for the investment that they make. Right, we talked about the domestic violence team that we have here and how they're changing the scope of things. I think Lieutenant Morgan, Captain Tejan, Sergeant Webster, Sergeant Goss, and Sergeant Rajkumar, I think they get it, right? I see them when I go out to, I don't know about you, Cameron, but I do like to go to high school football games, right?
I haven't been yet, but
Let me tell you, I was glad to just see high school football back, right?
oh yeah.
Even people spaced out in the stands, but I just really appreciate Lieutenant Morgan and all the sergeants, Captain Tegens, and Chief Randall, the assistant chief that oversees that. I think when we talk about the different entities we have and how we address crime and community relations, I will tell you one of the most vital parts that we have in this department is community youth and outreach, and I think we're doing the right thing making an investment. And I think that investment in youth, young people, is going to be a game changer for us.
For sure.
Right, Christine.
Chris, did
Somebody
I get Chris?
needs
Somebody get Chief some emoji flash. Yeah, because I look. So those are smiling. They're like, wait, is she laughing at me?
Yeah, that's laughing. Yeah. So like,
No. This is important. Is she happy
Yeah,
or is she laughing at me?
yeah, she's laughing at you.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna send some I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna send some emojis back.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, that's like a spreadsheet. Sergeant Webster, we're gonna use this on the next police recruit test.
Definitely.
Find all these emojis. Look, oh my gosh.
those are all good ones. So.
Those are all positive?
Yeah.
So, you sure you're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cameron, you talked to individuals that are on tonight. If you had, oh, wait a minute. These chats are awesome. I love how transparent you are. Oh, wow, thank you. Tell me this. If you were talking to high school students, and they would come to you and say, why are you hanging out with the police? Why do you talk to the police? What would be your message to them? What would you say? And that may have happened to you already.
Yes.
Okay. How do you respond to that?
You have to come out of a cave and ask questions. I think the main thing that kind of got me into this kind of stuff is just me being curious and interested in these kind of things. I mean, the worst thing you can do is ask a question. Just ask. You're gonna get an answer. So, and I think when people see me doing it, it's odd because they haven't seen these kind of people doing it and talking to law enforcement officers, getting involved in the community. But when they see children doing it, I think there is a sense of confusion, like why is he doing it? But at the same time, they can do it too.
Wow. Kelly, can you write that down? I want to use that in a speech or something. You got that? Yeah, that's good. Well, it's 6:54. I know we started a little bit early because we wanted to make sure everything worked. I'm comfortable to hang. You got about 5 more minutes to hang?
Oh yeah, so I actually wanted to.
Yeah,
I
go.
know they were saw them talking about like speeding and traffic enforcement.
Right.
And weren't you saying like last time you guys bought some speed trailers or whatever and you're
Wow.
placing them each?
Where- Who shared that information with you?
Last live. You know?
So that's very highly classified. No, he's right. So one of the Sergeant West, we're going to talk after this. So what he's talking about is speed trailers. So we decided, some complaints come through, and we'll do traffic enforcement, and while we're there, things seem to stop it. When we leave, they speed right back up. So we're trying. How do we continue to? So we decided to invest in some technology and use some speed trailers that will identify speeds. As people pass by, they can see that. We've seen that work a lot on the interstate. If people start to slow down now, of course, we're going to associate a car with that. But when people can see their speeds going, and I'll tell you, sometimes when we get complaints about speeding in particular neighborhoods, and we put cars up there to address speeding, you know who we find out is doing most of the speeding? People who live
in that area,
in the
because
neighborhood.
they're most comfortable with it.
Right. So, but yeah, speeding. That you're absolutely right. We did invest in. We have. I think we started out with 3 to see how they would work, and our plan is to put 1 in each precinct and to move it from location to location, especially where we get those multiple speed complaints. So you're exactly right. You're a wise young man. I think Keith. I think the chief would rather be trolled by. What's troll mean?
Something like Oh God.
Is that bad?
We'll move on.
Yeah,
Okay,
those-
gotcha.
yeah, so
Okay,
It's on.
a couch for sale. Julie, way to go, Cameron. Good for you. You have got my support, and so does our police department.
thank you. That's that was Nikki's mom.
Oh, wow, okay. Julie, thank you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. He is an amazing young man. So I'm just going to take the last couple minutes here. Cameron and I are going to tell some people thank you. On my side, I want to first thank Cameron. I think it took a lot to come here and sit next to me and have a courageous conversation, if you will, about what we're trying to do to make an impact in this community. Police, young people coming together to make things better, to discuss real issues. I want to thank the men and women that are out there doing this job every day, sworn and civilian. They put in the time and effort. This is a hard profession. It's very demanding. It's very demanding, but it's also extremely rewarding. And I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. The things you do matter. And believe it or not, they make a difference in it. You may not see it today. It may be 5 years down the road when you get a phone call or you run into somebody. But the things that you do matter. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Cameron?
I want to thank all my fans for joining. No, I'm joking.
All my
I
fans.
want to thank everybody for joining, coming up here, supporting me. I want to thank specifically Officer Booth. He was my SRO at Dozier Middle School. He inspired me to get
Wow.
into the police department. He told me about the camp over summer at the Yorktown
Oh, yeah, right, the summer camps, yeah.
Coast Guard Training Center. And so, yes, he's definitely inspired me to get into this. If it wasn't for him, I'd probably be at home right now. So
Right, wow, okay. Well, so we got Miss Brumfield says that that worked in Miss Brumfield, you talking about the speed trap? Okay, I got you. Please send some additional patrols to the new over. Yeah, I will tell you, Jennifer. Somebody else talked about that at noon today about some speeding on Atkinson. That the new overpass there. We'll definitely take a look at that. So one other person had mentioned that earlier today. So Cameron, we've held everybody up. We're about right at 6:59. Oh, wait a minute.
Cameron, please keep up the work. You are doing well.
Wow.
You are doing okay. We will be praying for you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Wow.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, Parker, I appreciate that as well. I appreciate that. I believe that one person can change, can make changes. I tell you, I was thinking the officers. You know who else I need to thank? Your mom and dad. They made an investment in you that is paying off, and I tell you, they'd be very proud, and they should be. Well, go cousin.
Oh, yeah. We got South Carolina up in here now.
Wait. This is all the way from
I
South
can't keep up
Carolina.
with this
So you're
fast.
like state. You're like nationwide now.
Yeah,
Not just
we got Florida,
Florida.
Jersey. Right here.
Wait. How do you say it? Jersey?
Jersey. I can say Jersey.
Thank you, Cameron and Chief. Julie, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Collin Drive 2, a lot of speeding. Okay, Kelly, will you write that one down for me? Collin Drive 2, very good. Joseph, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I'm going to say my goodbyes, and I'm going to turn it over to Cameron to sign us off. But thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you taking the time. And if you have any questions, please feel free. I want to thank the community for all that you do and working with us. That through some of the challenging times we've seen across the country in the last year, I believe we've been able to have conversations, whether it's black, white, Asian, Latino, police, a diverse city, a great city to work in and live in, raise a family. And I'll tell you, our city manager, our Mayor Price, and our city council, just phenomenal support. And I appreciate you. Please be safe. Cameron, I'll let you sign us off, my friend.
Well, I want to thank all my family members from all the different states down the coast for joining me today. I really appreciate all the words of encouragement in the chat. I want to thank Sergeant Webster for bringing me here today, pep talking me, getting me ready for this. Lieutenant Morgan for hooking this all up. But I want to say thank you and have a good night.
Nice job, my friend. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of you. All right, Kelly.
Okay.
Now, is it still live or, see, I can't ever read.